rush to 400,000 on the Red Stars Rampage. It's more of a I'm busy and I have so many things to do, and I usually do these rushes usually on the Sunday or the Monday right after the events launched, and right now there's about 16 hours left. But yeah, usually I just do it in one sitting. I've got max blitz and I just kind of use the refreshes. Favorite team is my Magneto team because I can pretty much just hit auto play and they can clear out any team, and I'll show you guys in this video. But yeah, we'll quickly just run through some of my teams here, and you want to have at least 5 or 6 decent teams, so with synergy. So like you're looking at Guardians, Shield, Brotherhood, I've got the Avengers, and then I've got some villains as well with that mix. But again, my favorite is the Brotherhood team because just the offensive prowess is so powerful. You can pretty much just auto hit. Usually with this, because we're on the 1.0 multipliers, I start off with my lowest, and that way you can kind of just get the multiplier going. And yeah, and once you get the multiplier going, you don't want to waste your higher power player characters on the crappy multipliers, right? So usually for this, I start with my lowest, and yeah, just quickly cruising through. Usually I just auto hit play or whatever, and auto play, and yeah, and usually I'm just watching some YouTube, listen to some music or something like that. Usually I wouldn't worry too much. I find that with the 1.0 multipliers, it's really straightforward. You don't really need to even check the game, to be honest with you. Sometimes I don't look, and surprisingly, I have lost a few times that way, but now I've kind of done enough times, and I think my characters are at a certain point where I don't know why, it's just the certain characters within that range, they kind of just work well. So I would definitely, if you have time, just kind of mess around with your lower end players, right? To see if those characters, even if they're just at random here. I've only got my 7 or 8 preset teams in my saved roster, but again, you guys can put some of these random teams as well, so you know which ones are sure wins for sure. But yeah, in this video, I should have briefly mentioned this at the start, but I didn't. We're just gonna rush to 400,000. Usually I do it in about 30 minutes or less, so it's usually pretty good. So I mean, again, you've got so many things going on right now with Alliance Wars, you got Blitz, you got Arena, you got raids. It's just the game is eating up so much time, right? So again, I usually just do these quick little plows through the raids, and usually on the Sundays too, you get the free refreshes from the challenges. So I'll show you guys at the end of this when I get up to 400,000. But yeah, it's just, you're basically just blowing up refreshes anyways, right? And I know a lot of players, especially the ones in my alliance as well, they've kind of given up doing some of these blitz because it's just been so repetitive. But I told them, if you want to get better at the game, we got the one thing you can't neglect is these red star orbs. So you got to do them, right? I mean, as painful as it is, you got to do it. So unfortunately, that's obviously that's the only way we're going to be able to progress through the game. Even with the higher challenges, to get those tier what is it, tier 7 or tier 8? Oh, I forget the tier now. But yeah, to get the higher ones, you got to get the 4, 5, 6 stars in there, because it's just so hard to get it with if you've got characters with no red stars. I mean, my cap is still missing a red star, which is ridiculous because I feel like I've opened up a million of these red star orbs. But again, I'm just grinding away here because again, this isn't a sprint, right? This game's a marathon. You just got to be patient. One thing I should have noted too as well is for you guys trying to rush on the red star blitz here quickly as you can. I mean, I'm doing it in one sitting because obviously time is a constraint, but it's obviously easy if you just pace yourself and do it every the refresh is every 2 hours, so you can always just wait every 2 hours and it comes back anyways, right? If you want to save your blitz refreshes. But again, I've got enough to spare, and I can refresh it at the end there. I usually use about 200 or 300, and then I can just use the challenge refreshes, and I usually just get it back as well. So again, now we're kind of finished up here with my low minions. I'll probably do one more set here, and then we'll go from there. But again, next multiplier is 2.0, and you can still autoplay this depending on the characters, but sometimes you want to make sure you don't lose too, right? Or you're gonna get debunked back to the initial multiplier, right? And that sometimes can be a pain in the ass. yeah, but again, I'm just gonna auto hit. I'm getting lazy here, for the sake of speed and time, obviously. And I'm lazy as well. I just like to talk. So yeah. So I mean, again, we've got so much stuff going on right now with the game. Avengers Endgame is coming out as well. So make sure you guys are saving up those power cores. I'm saving up mine just so if there's a special character and it's released right now to be Falcon. So I mean that should be good, right? I'm saving some orbs up so that way I can basically get him when he gets released. And then it'll be interesting to see what kind of events they put on too that coincide after the Venom raid, or not the Venom raid, the Juggernaut raid. So yeah. So again, so this is the part usually where I start using some of my higher tier teams now. Let me see here. Yeah. So these guys have a little more juice. I'm gonna make sure I don't get any of my preset teams in there. Again, this would be a lot easier if you preset some of these teams. But remember, right, with Blitz, you got to make sure the characters you're using are at least 4 stars. So I started leveling up a lot of the lower, crappier characters to 4 stars, just so I have more characters, so I can basically blow out that 1.0 multiplier out of the water ASAP here, and then I can start doing the 2s and the 2.5s and all that. Because you don't want to be wasting your higher end characters for that, right? You want to use them down the stretch when you've got at least like a 3-point multiplier, so that way you get more juice out of it. But again, I've perfectly what is it? I've done this a few times now, and it's I think it's 2.5 or 2.65. You can basically start refreshing there, and it's good. It's good game, right? If you're only aiming for 400,000 to get all the free rewards from the Blitz, then it's fine. You don't really need to start using those characters up at the 3.1 multiplier. I used to do that. I was just basically doing the 2-hour refreshes and then getting it all up to 3.1, 3.4 before I start using my higher end characters. But I just got so sick of checking on the game so many times. And as I already said, there's so many things going on. There's Alliance Wars, there's Arena, there's Blitz already, and then you've got to blow your energy, you got to collect your energy. Yeah, it's just adding up, right? So yeah, it's eating up so much of my time. Again, I'm just gonna check, make sure these guys aren't in my preset list there, because I got the Guardians and I got a Kree team going. Spider-Man, I don't really have anything complete with Spider-Verse yet, so that's why I'm going to throw him in there with Black Panther as well. And again, we're just going to eat up this next wave here, and I'll probably start using my other teams after. But like I said, yeah, so obviously this game is starting to eat up quite a bit of time, and that's obviously an issue, right? Especially if you're playing other mobile games like Clash, if you're playing Pokemon Go, if you're playing, some of those other games. It's just ridiculous, right? It already eats up so much time, right? So again, I'm a big Marvel nut, and I love this game, but the one thing I don't love is how time consuming it's starting to become, right? And especially with these 2-hour refreshes. I mean, come on, right? They're trying to make it. I liked it when it was 6 hours back then, because then you didn't have to check so much. But now it's like ridiculous. You gotta check every 2 hours if you want to stay competitive with the Blitz modes, and it's just yeah, it's been a grind. So we're pretty much gonna be at the next multiplier, and what you guys are gonna see next is I'll probably switch to a higher tier team. That way, it's still lower end on my list there, but it's a higher end one that I know for sure they won't have an issue beating the team here. Let's see. So maybe I should have checked the team before I hit him. Oh shoot. Okay, well I didn't expect that. Okay. Yeah, we should still be okay. Like I said, usually there's enough nukage on this team that I'm okay. But usually I love this team because Korath and Captain Marvel pair up so well with the Kree as well, because of the fact that she has so many one hit knockouts, and same with Korath. He has a decent amount of damage, speed ups. Great blaster actually. I would definitely classify him as one of the best blasters in the game right now, just with his unique skill set, and obviously right now with his unison and synergy with the Kree as well. It actually works out quite well, especially with the new Ronin rework as well. So that's really yeah, just like I said, shouldn't be too much of an issue. We're gonna take. You know what? We're gonna switch our target. He's got less health. And again, like I said, other than Captain Marv getting one-shotted because my characters basically nuked her out. Pretty awesome here. So now we're at 2.65 or whatever, and we're gonna start switching up to some higher level teams. And let's see, what do we want to use? We're gonna use Guardians. Yeah, I love Guardians because of the fact that there is a lot of nuke in this game as well, or not in this game, in this team. You've got Star-Lord, and then you've got Rocket as well as Gamora, and there's so much damage on this team. It's ridiculous. It's no wonder that the tech teams right now with Vision and Star-Lord on the arenas, it's one of the metas, right? It's so good. The problem with techs is some of them can be quite squishy, like Star-Lord, but then the moment you start with Vision there, giving everybody defense up, it just makes a ton of difference. It's just absolutely phenomenal. So again, like I said, quite a bit of nukage, and it's great because Gamora can get so many hits in before with her if she can land a killing blow, her speed bar just fills up like crazy. So yeah, I'm just gonna quickly switch up to some higher end teams here, and again, it's still fairly easy right now because of the fact that the multiplier is still low. So again, you want to just kind of take your time with this. You'll get the points as long as you have enough teams. The biggest factor right now is having enough teams that are between 4 stars and 7. Oh gosh darn it, again. Oh gosh, I hate it when they do that. Okay, usually that doesn't happen, but it's okay. It happens. I'm just glad it's the lower end teams, so it's usually a pretty sure win chance. But again, I've noticed that the Avengers team have kind of leveled off. Personally, I'm enjoying my Guardians team way more than my Avengers now because of the fact that just their synergy works better. And Iron Man is just he's a little out of place. Everyone's got Vision or Black Panther instead of some of the characters I have right now, and that's great. It's just I haven't leveled them up enough. Black Panther, I'm getting him there, but again, my Vision's just garbage. He's like, I don't even think he's like 2,000 or 3,000 CP, so I mean he's pretty crappy. But again, that's just because I've been spending so much time and resources trying to get all my other characters up. I had to basically backtrack a bit and farm the shield teams because I didn't realize at the time we needed to have so many of the shield members. Like they work so well with Nick Fury, and at the time I spent so much time on the Avengers, and oh my goodness. And then Defenders as well. Still trying to catch up with these guys. Still trying to get everybody over 40,000 and trying to get them to tier 12, and it's been a little mess there too. And then they released the Brotherhood team, and that's definitely my favorite team right now. I mean, especially right now, they've basically made that almost a premium team until they unleashed the Alliance Wars. You weren't able to farm Pyro, or you weren't able to farm Sabretooth as well. So it made it really difficult to get some of those characters up to 5 stars to work on the Brotherhood campaign, right? Like I mean, I had Storm and Wolverine up there already because they're easy to farm, but otherwise, I mean, you can farm Mystique fine, but you couldn't farm Sabretooth, you couldn't farm Pyro, and that made it extremely difficult because you wanted at least 5 Brotherhood / X-Men characters, right? And I mean, again, if Cable could get into there because he's a mutant, that would have been fine. But yeah, no, they wanted X-Men or Brotherhood, so then I had to basically I did have to waste quite a few of my power cores trying to chance my luck with the premium orbs, and it was absolutely brutal trying to get that done. And then finally they launched, they released farming for Sabretooth on the raids, which is awesome because again, I've pretty much maxed out all my characters and I wasn't using raid credits for anything other than the materials, and now I can finally at least start farming Sabretooth that way. But now with the Alliance Wars I can farm Pyro as well, so that way it's great. That way I unlocked Magneto, and like I said, if you watch this one, it's just autoplay. Like it's just this team is so good on the offensive side. I'm trying to get all these guys up to tier 12 right now because it's just ridiculous. And obviously if you've noticed it as well in the Alliance Wars, I mean this is just this is just a killing team. It can take out Shield, it can take out Defenders, it can take out Avengers, it can take out Guardians. This team is just ridiculous. I mean, Juggernaut with a 2-turn taunt and like immunity, defense up, like there's just nothing getting through that. And then on top of that, his resistance is up the roof. So I mean, again, it's just ridiculous. So we're up at 3.1 now, and again, this is where kind of I start using some of my refreshes. Villains team. This team is okay. It's not the greatest. Again, the synergy there isn't really that great. I think really Thanos and Mordu kind of go together well, which is great. But otherwise, I mean, their synergy there isn't really that great. So again, use teams that you're comfortable with. This one's really kind of like really random. I like Elektra in here because she stealths basically, and then she can make the defenders bleed like crazy. So that's why I like using her against these teams. But again, that's just how it is. Tip here is always try to stun Luke Cage. Again, he's just ridiculous. And then if he gets his defense up, it makes everything a hell lot harder. So again, as you saw right there, I'm already kind of getting mopped here. So usually you want to take out at least Punisher and Daredevil first because they do so much of the damage. And again, I love Thanos because his taunt's like ridiculous. If you can get to Crossbones' nuke, at least it'll clear a bit of the damage for you and bring some of the characters down to earth. Because again, this team is so good, especially starting out. This is one of the best free-to-play teams. I classify a free-to-play team as a team that you can easily farm and you can basically unlock any character. And this team is just ridiculous. You can't really farm Magneto easily. You have to basically hope to God that you can get some of the characters unlocked, like for Sabretooth, and if you're winning Alliance Wars, then you can unlock Pyro. But if you're not even already using your credits for Carnage, I mean, there's competition there, right? But again, I wouldn't really consider the Brotherhood a free-to-play farmable team. I would consider them, yeah, it's free-to-play for sure, but right timing, right luck, right everything, right? Even if you have the characters ready, it's not like you can unlock Magneto any day, any time. Who knows, right? With Foxnex, I mean, they're so random at times that I don't even know. Like, who knows? They might just remove him altogether, right? You never know, right? Again, it's a money-based game, so you never know with these types of things. And again, we're gonna bring out Shield. Again, Shield's another team. Yes, it's a free-to-play team, but it's the same thing as the Brotherhood. You basically have to wait for the event to come back, and I mean, that's part of the game, right? It'd be no fun if anyone can unlock it. So I do consider this team to be fairly farmable, considering the fact that other than Nick Fury, every character on here is farmable. Operative, Shield, Medic, like they're all very, very good characters, and I should have farmed them earlier on, but again, I was lazy. I did the Avengers first, and yeah, I'm kind of biting my ass on it now, but I've kind of caught up and basically farmed it. I love Vision. I still got to get him, like I said, but again, I've been spending so much time getting Shield, getting Defenders, getting the Brotherhood. It's just been a nightmare. It's been a freaking nightmare. So I've pretty much used all my decent teams now, and I'm gonna start using my refreshes now. So I've got about 500 cores now. I can start using refreshes on. So I've got about, again, you want to make sure you can do about, you want to make sure you can do about 4 to 5 refreshes per team, because again, once it starts getting up to that 50 per cost, it's not worth it, right? So that's why I say at the start of the video here, make sure you have at least 5 or 6 or 7 good teams that you can be confident that they're going to win, even at those higher multipliers. And with the game that they've designed it so that it's almost it's better to pair units together. You saw my villains team, there wasn't too much synergy, but again, with this Guardians team, oh, it's ridiculous. There is so much synergy here. It's just ridiculous. Most of these teams are a walk in the park. I bet you even right now I can probably just autoplay this and I'll still be fine. Because again, there's that huge team synergy. There's so much damage on this team as well. And there's so much synergy. There's heals, there's defense up, there's taunts, and obviously there's a lot of bonuses together. And again, we're just going to rotate teams over. I like rotating it over because it keeps it fresh. And also, I do like this team because, again, if I'm feeling really lazy, all I do is auto hit. So I'm just going to hit auto hit and show you guys. I'm not even going to move any buttons here. It's just ridiculous. I do have my cursor on Punisher because again he's annoying. I want to get rid of him first because again his damage is just, oh my gosh, his damage is just, it's insane. If the defenders team doesn't have Punisher on there, it's pretty crappy in terms of damage. You've still got Iron Fist that does a decent amount of damage with his ult, but again it's nothing without the Punisher. The Punisher does so much damage, and then again if anyone's hitting Daredevil, he's gonna rebound with a counter. If he's got AOE. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of chains with the Guardians team, or not the Guardians, with the Defenders team, but there isn't a lot of AOE. And when they pull up the taunt, other than Iron Fist's ult and then Jessica Jones, there's not a lot of ways you can debuff, right? So it creates a lot of problems for your team that you can't take the taunts off, especially if you're up against another Defenders team. And they've got resistance, they've got taunts, they got defense up. Oh, it's just a big nightmare. So we're at 3.4 now, and I'm just changing teams, making it a little more accessible. Because again, with enough times that you play Blitz, you can notice that what teams are good matchups against each other, and Shield's usually very good against the Defenders. And we're about halfway there now, so that's not too shabs. How are we doing for time? It looks like we're still doing pretty good. We're about 20 some minutes here. It looks like a little bit under 20. And let's see, we're gonna, yeah, like I said, what you want to first do is you want to make sure you take out Punisher. You can't take him out, he's gonna be a huge problem. So we're gonna just fire away here. Now that we got once we get rid of Punisher, we can basically aim our targets at Iron Fist or Daredevil. I usually kind of take a look around, see who's lower, and we're gonna go with Daredevil because he did his little AOE damage there, so he's a little lower. So we're gonna aim for him, and then we're gonna go for Iron Fist there. And again, like I said, Luke Cage is such a big problem. If he can land his taunt before Punisher and Daredevil and Iron Fist are down, oh, it becomes a nightmare to take this team down. So you want to make sure you attack Punisher first, because again, if you hit Daredevil, Punisher's just going to counter, and he's just probably going to do massive amounts of DPS. If you go for Iron Fist, that's okay too. I've had luck with taking out Iron Fist first as well, but again, you have that problem where Punisher's alive, and you've got him and Daredevil alive. Oh, they're just doing massive damage. Iron Fist usually does a heal first, so you can kind of chance it on that he's gonna not do some damage. And again, his ult is okay. I find it still a little bit underwhelming when you compare it with the damage that Punisher and Daredevil can do on their own. But again, Iron Fist mainly heals, and again, like I'll show you guys again. If you want to take out these Defenders teams, take out their legs. Punisher is their legs, and once you take them out, it's pretty much smooth sailing from there. So again, like I said, Iron Fist will heal. And this round, we're actually gonna just go for Iron Fist, and I'll show you guys. Again, this team is just so good with Nick Fury. This is easily the best team right now. Probably not offensive-wise, but in terms of all-around defensive, offensive, versatility, raids, blitz, arena, this team is just ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. We're going to go for Jessica Jones, and then we're going to finish off, and now I'm just going to tap. But again, this team has so much damage. It's got so much defense. It's got so much utility. It's just one of the most versatile teams. Definitely right now, if I was starting out in the game, I'd be farming those Kree minions like there's no tomorrow. Because again, the only way to get Nick Fury is you got to have 5 Kree minions. And I'm happy that at least they made it accessible to the player base. But again, it's going to be a long grind if you want to get Nick Fury. And I'm telling you guys right now, it's going to be it's definitely worth it. But the worst case is you build up those Kree teams. You know, they're just gonna pair well again with Captain Marvel, because they do have a little bit of synergy with her. Not great synergy, but they do have synergy. And again, they pair really well with Ronin and Korath, which obviously makes it great. Because again, with having those teams with synergy, that's kind of where you want it. And again, like I said, we're just gonna basically plow this guy down. We're just gonna tap. Nick Fury is the core of this team. You can the shield team itself doesn't do too bad without him, but again, he really pieces everything together because he is that he is that leader. He is that leader. He's like the Captain America to the Avengers core, right? Where he provides energy. He's giving buffs to everybody, and he's just making it so easy for them to basically to plow through the teams. Again, usually with last rounds before multipliers, I usually go with this team because again, this is the best team for doing basically raids, or not raids, arena, sorry, and alliance wars in terms of offense potential. Magneto starting off, especially with if he's got a full set of Brotherhood allies, his speed up will always guarantee he's like the first character. Only time it hasn't happened is if you're up against another Brotherhood team and their Magneto is faster or they've got more stars on him. But again, usually if I'm feeling nervous about a team, if I need to advance, I usually throw that team in there on a blitz and easy peasy. Easy does it. So again, just super duper easy to kind of lock that down with that team. And again, right now I am just loving the Brotherhood team. It's good for raids as well. But the problem is there's no sustainability. So if there is a tough raid and you're looking to just do some massive DPS, they can also incorporate that as well. Especially with Magneto, when he starts off with a blind, he basically blinds everybody. Fear of the Darkness, again, right? Shield teams will thrive in that with Nick Fury. Like I said already, the Brotherhood's more offensively. It's not a sustainable team. They don't really have that many heals, other than the fact that Juggernaut can get some, and then obviously Mystique can pull off buffs from other teams, characters. And other than that, I mean, the sustain isn't that great. The new teams, the new Wakanda teams, are supposed to be very raid powerful, so that'll be interesting to see how they fit in with the meta and everything. Yeah. But otherwise, we are just slowly trotting along here and making our mark. So again, we don't have too much further to go here. I'm already at 384, so like I said, little shy under 30 minutes. I mean, it's relatively easy. Again, just with time constraints, if you've got crazy work schedules, you've got, you got to work out, you got to hit the gym, you got other video games to play. It's just eating so much time to check on this game every 2 hours. So what I usually do is, usually when the orb assaults go live, I usually just do that quickly on the one day, and then I'm done with it. And then next day, before the other blitz starts, I just do the red orbs and just nuke it down quickly. So do it in 20-30 minutes, and it's over and done with, right? Sometimes too with the blitz assaults, I don't even do it anymore. Sometimes it's just for right now with Alliance Wars, it's becoming pretty critical that you do it because of the fact that you need the credits. So that way you can get your defense boost and obviously get the attack energy refreshes, so you can do more alliance attacks. But again, other than that, I mean, other than that, I wasn't even doing my orb assaults because I was just like, it's just so time consuming, right? The nice thing about the orb assault is it's only 200,000, so it's very fast. So I do like that. But again, with the red orbs, it can also be just as fast. Again, most of the part, I'm just talking and watching YouTube. Usually, usually streaming and YouTubing or whatever, and that's usually it goes by pretty fast here. So there you guys have it. So that's 400,000, and so we still got 300 refreshes. So usually what I do is if I have extra refreshes, because I know with the initial challenge, it gives you about like 270 because it's 90. You get 90 for the tier 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever it's called, and then you get 3 times of it, so you get about 270 back. So usually what I like to do is I want to drop down to at least about low 200s, so that way at least it doesn't overlap. Because right now, obviously, if I got the challenge done now, I would have over 500, and that's obviously, it's a waste, right? So I might as well just level up a bit. I usually do it a little more just in case, because I'm either bored and I have time, or sometimes if you just do a little bit more, so like 400 or 500, sometimes you might rank higher on the rewards, so you might get a little more from the end rewards afterwards. So like I said, I'll leave that up to you guys. But again, as I said already, mainly just relying on 6 to 7 good teams that you're comfortable with, and just doing the refreshes on them after you've gotten all your crappy, scrappy teams out of the way on the 1.0s and the 1.5 multipliers. And once you get those out of the way, I mean, oh, that was a good damage actually. Once you get those out of the way, then you can start doing the refreshes on your big teams like your Guardians, your Defenders. If you don't have those core teams yet, again, get them because the synergy is there. It's unbelievable. And again, if you've got teams where you kind of have a bit of theory crafting involved with Avengers mixed with Shield, that's okay too. As long as you know that those teams can win. And again, the important thing with Blitz is making sure those 5 characters that you have are in a close bracket together. If you have teams with huge power disparities, it's going to create problems, especially with matchups. And obviously you don't want that, right? It's just going to create more problems as it is. So here, what I'm going to do is I already told you guys this. I'm so lazy. I just don't care. I'm just going to quickly throw my mutant Brotherhood team in there. And again, like I said, I'm just going to auto hit. It's so easy with these guys. Like I said, usually with this time, I don't even look at the game. I kind of just hit Autoplay, and then I just go on YouTube and I'm watching a video or something while this goes, and I leave the sound effects on or whatever, so that way I know when it's done, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, whatever, yeah, now I can go on to the next one. But again, it was cost 50, and it's not a big deal for me to use that, because again, it's pretty cheap right now, because I have extra Blitz orb energy to blow, and again, I haven't even done my dailies yet, so it's going to be extra there. Again, Juggernaut just cleared the board. I love his animation too for that. And again, this team is so good. I love Magneto's animation and everything with this team. So again, now we're down to 2.5 or something. Yeah, 2.5. So yeah, so here we go. So we're gonna quickly go to challenges, and I'll show you guys here now. Again, we're just gonna hit refresh. I'm a little bit over, but it's like 5 or whatever, so who cares? I don't even. Yeah. So there you guys have it. Yeah. I think, you know what? I'm just going to do 2 more, I think. So that way I can show you guys. I'm just going to get to 500 and whatever, and then I can just do my daily and refresh. Because again, if I'm not using it, I'm just going to lose it, right? The refreshes. So yeah, so again, like I said, I'm super lazy. I'm just going to hit autoplay for this. And again, we're basically just going to let the characters roll and let the dices go. But like I said already, this team is unbelievably great. Definitely the best offensive team right now in the game. I don't know if they're going to come out with a better team than this, but right now this is the gold standard. In terms of offensive potential, it's got greater than the Nick Fury and the Shield teams. But again, Nick Fury and the Shield teams have way better sustainability, and they can last longer. So again, this is still personally my favorite team to use in terms of raids and attacking the bigger, harder hitters, and just getting nukes out and kind of clearing the board. And then I could bring in my Shield team and clean up. And then my Shield team basically progresses the other 6 or 7 nodes afterwards because of their sustain. Again, we're gonna blind Punisher since he AoEs, and no issue there. We're gonna do some stealth hits there with Mystique, and again we're gonna taunt with Juggernaut shooting after. And again, super easy because, like I said already, there's just so much debuffs. There's so much damage. There's so much great passives here too. Pyro's passive is great for making them block their heals. Juggernaut's passive is great because he's just great. His taunt's great, his passive's great, his damage is great, his charge is great. Everything about Juggernaut's great. I just got him to 7 stars, so I'm super happy about that. I don't know if they're probably gonna shut down these Juggernaut raids afterwards as well, just like they did with Deadpool and Thanos. So it's good to make sure you guys are doing all the raids and trying to get as much of the Juggernaut orbs as possible, or the shards as possible. Because again, I don't know when he's gonna come back, and he's not farmable right now. So you definitely want to get him up to 7 stars before he's gone. So there we go. So we're done here, and like I said, I'm just gonna collect my free 100 to show you guys. But yeah, otherwise, click, claim, and get all these free orbs. And again, it's cash, right? You really need the money right now, especially with the Captain Marvel events going on. But again, like I said, we're at 3.85, and we ended off about 550,000, which isn't bad, and just a little bit under 30 minutes here. So again, like I said, if you're time constrained, this is the way to go. And again, just reiterating that you want to have teams that are you're comfortable with. And again, synergistic teams, Shield, Defenders, Guardians, Brotherhood, those are the teams to go for. I'll make some more videos on the best teams that I would start farming as a free-to-play player, because I am free-to-play. Otherwise, thanks for watching, you guys, and yeah, happy Easter, and take care for now.